Hello my dear friends, and welcome back to another Star Wars news update. So today we have a couple of very interesting topics. We begin with a massive release date. Following Disney's Q1 earnings webcast, they unveiled that The Mandalorian and Grogu is going to release in December of 2026. And before fans say that is the first movie we're getting, there is an untitled Star Wars movie for May 2026. Could this be the Rey movie by Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy? The official release date is the 18th of December 2026, the same year as Toy Story 5 and Frozen 3, and Moana 2, which does have a couple of Star Wars names like Tamar Morrison and Alan Tudyk, is coming this November. But the relevant major update confirmed by Bob Iger is that The Mandalorian and Grogu is releasing in 2026, just before Christmas. For more Mando updates, go and check out yesterday's video. We covered quite a lot. On to something really exciting concerning The Bad Batch Season 3. I don't know if you've heard, but they kind of accidentally posted an entire scene, which I think is meant to be released prior to Season 3 as a kind of teaser at some point, but they released it to IMDb. They did take it down. The scene involved Crosshair and Omega's conversations from their prison cells on Mount Tantis, and it's given me a lot of hope for some of the deeper themes that are going to be explored in the third season. Ever since the first season, when Crosshair really didn't like Omega, I always liked those moments where the two are sat together, and Omega represents this beacon of hope, belief in those around her. She's got this very childish, naive side to her, where trust in others comes naturally, and Crosshair is very cynical. He's seen the worst of the galaxy, and so naturally his outlook, his perspective on the galaxy is very different. But now we have something of a full scene, and it starts with Omega talking about what's the plan? How are they going to escape? And Crosshair seems to have given up hope. He's accepted his death, his fate. It's made evident that Omega sneaks through the facility to reach him, telling him she came earlier, but there were too many guards. Crosshair informs her she shouldn't be down there at all. Crosshair already seems to have tried to escape, and at this point, he's given up. And they have a conversation about trust. And throughout it, Crosshair's hands are literally shaking. He's nervous. He's scared. He's afraid about what the Empire and Dr. Hemlock are going to do. Is he just waiting for death? The clone prisoners are not kept in the know, so he has no idea what's going to happen to him next. Crosshair ends the conversation by telling Omega that she should go, before she makes things worse for both of them. It's just a little teaser, pulls on the heartstrings, and given there are just under 2 weeks to go, I'm hoping they release more teasers, more scenes like this. And Joel Aaron, director of cinematography on the show, opened up about some of the themes of the third season, saying, quote, "There is a ton to the type of metaphoric 1940s cinema lighting. Once again, they're going for the film noir aesthetic." And he also teased, quote, "upcoming tales after Season 3. Is he talking about Tales of the Jedi Season 2? Was this a reference to a future Star Wars animated series? Or quite literally, Tales of the Jedi?" And so moving on to what is maybe the biggest subject of the day, Donald Glover has opened up about the LANDO movie, and I wouldn't really be covering this because every time I do there doesn't seem to be much interest. We seem to be very far away from the actual release of this thing, so it seems pointless at times to bring up any little update, but this one's actually really huge, because Donald Glover's stance on this is pretty remarkable. He wants LANDO to be, quote, anti-Hollywood. He doesn't want to follow formulaic equations, and he wants to give the franchise something different. And in my opinion, as you're going to see, I think he wants it to be different specifically from Solo: A Star Wars Story. Not too long ago, he asked Billy D. Williams some advice about what they should include in a LANDO movie. Original Lando's response was, be charming. And that is what LANDO is, but he's multifaceted. And just like the aforementioned Moana 2, LANDO once conceptually started as a Disney Plus series by Justin Simien, but now it's a movie, as we found out, I think it was last summer or last fall, in a new interview with The Hollywood Reporter with Maya Erskine. The stars of Amazon's Mr. and Mrs. Smith spoke about stepping into the roles that created Brangelina, but thankfully Donald also had a bit of time to spill the beans on LANDO, which since no longer being a Justin Simien project, is still extremely early in development, and it's up to the LANDO brothers to deliver what is probably going to be a sequel to Solo: A Star Wars Story. The most eyebrow-raising reveal is that Donald Glover promises LANDO is going to be anti-Hollywood. He talks about the opportunity for Disney to kind of give him this movie and go in his and his brother's own direction with it. And given his frustration over the years with the industry, he wants Lando to be a reflection of it. And that gives me so much hope that Lando can truly explore some dark, gritty themes revolving around the scoundrel's life. More things concerning his daughter, which Billy D. Williams brought up last week. The legacy and history of the Calrissian family, which is something Justin Simien almost explored, but it doesn't sound as though it's going to be redeeming in any way for the character. Quite the opposite. But that could make it very fun. Here's what Donald Glover went on to say. At this point, I just know when something's going to be good, because you're really fighting the industry when you put your own input on a franchise. And it's not like, it's not like I hate the industry, but now I ask myself, do I hate the industry? I feel like I have enough control, and maybe you get painted as a control freak. Control allows for the vision to be singular, and if the vision is singular, people want more. And he's right, that is why Andor Season 1 was so good. It was Tony Gilroy's pure vision. Glover says, and if the vision is singular, people want more. The less singular, the less people want it, because they feel like they could have made it. And also, I'll just interject, to his point, people are sick and tired of the same old tropes. The formulaic equations of Hollywood are falling apart. Cinema goers are just not falling for the same old tricks. And Donald knows this. He acknowledges that's why Lando has to be good, has to be different. He finishes by saying, look, we live in a time where anybody can make anything. You go on TikTok, there's literally every type of thing. There's documentaries, there's puppetry, there's yarn stop motion. So why would you want to see something you feel like you could have made? I'm really hoping he has his finger on the pulse, because by the sounds of things, he's one of those people who just gets it. And Star Wars could definitely do with something very unique, with a legacy character like Lando, something that genuinely makes fans want to go see this film. Because in terms of Solo: A Star Wars Story, the fans responded as they did, either by not going, or mid-reviews. I mean, sure, there were fans who loved the film, but generally speaking, it lost money, and so I can't see how Disney are going to have faith in a project like Lando, unless there is some kind of a twist, something that makes it unique. And I hope that's Donald Glover. And he's right when he says anyone can make anything these days. Maybe not with the budget of Disney and Lucasfilm, but definitely in terms of, for example, fan films. Some of those absolutely trump some of the official content we've gotten. So I'm hoping he's staying true to his word, sticking with the anti-Hollywood stuff. There's of course a limitation to this, because Disney do have to approve it, but at least he didn't give a generic response. We're going to do X, Y, and Z and fans are going to love it. He's saying no, this project needs to have a singular vision that is his own. And being the incredible talent he is, I kind of believe him. I want to have faith. But with that said, my dear friends, share your thoughts on everything we spoke about in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. May the Force be with you, always.